my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing fine. 10, gonna do it right and do it again, yeah. I look into the sky with all the beautiful color, but there's more than just for me, so gonna share it with another. I got to show, to give, let out. I want to sing and shout. Take a look and see a beautiful morning.
Been in here and people are roaring with laughter, so.
It's a dirty show, though.
Well, it's clean dirt.
You have here the best of the best.
Yes.
So we have many celebrities here. The Harley Madison come over here, and the Usher come over here many often, and the Paris Hilton come here.
Well, I'm dating myself, but it's okay. Nobody else will. Oh.
That's so Vegas.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all, not one bill. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
The treatment doesn't get any better than what you receive at St. Jude. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
Welcome to That's So Vegas TV. I'm your host, Christine McKellar, here in the Las Vegas Arts District, right in downtown Las Vegas. Isn't that awesome?
It is awesome.
It is awesome. And of particular awesomeness, if there's such a word, is my guest today, David Goldrake. David,
Hello,
thank
Christine.
you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, having seen your show, Imaginarium, at the Tropicana, I couldn't help but beg to have you come on the show.
It's a pleasure.
You're bringing so much to Las Vegas, and particular interest, I think, to me, in having been to your home country of Luxembourg. That's
very small.
It is small. It's when you look at the statistics, and I did my homework and I looked it up. The population of your whole country of good souls, you have 576,249 honest, God-fearing people.
Yes, we do.
And in the city alone of Las Vegas, we have more. We have 583,756 sinners.
Yes.
But we're not all sinners. It's just the illusion.
Correct. Yeah. No, it is true. Our whole country has less inhabitants than your city. And I've been here for 4 months now, but I could tell there's a lot of similarities, a lot of parallels. The sense of community that I experience in my home country is very similar here in Vegas on every possible level. So, with the exception of the temperature, it kind of feels like home.
And that's thank you, but that was a compliment, by the way, because I was joking, saying sinners, and you picked up on that. Las Vegas, we do have a very big-hearted, deep-rooted community here, and a lot of, I think at one point we had more churches per capita than any other state in the union, so what does that tell you? But we pride ourselves on the glitz and the glamour of the Strip, and there you are on Tropicana, the billboard, and tell us about the show and how I know you put a lot of thought and effort and creativity into it to help it blend into the Las Vegas environment. So,
my philosophy in magic has always been to have my own point of view, to kind of convey the emotions that I would like to convey, to see what touches people, what different emotions I can trigger in them. And when we decided to come to Vegas, I had to do my homework as well. So we came over a couple of times. We watched a lot of my colleagues, who are mostly friends as well. And I could see who was doing what the different approaches were. And I realized at some point, yours is different. So I felt this is something that can be interesting for the Strip, that can be unique. And at this point, the reception we've been given from the spectators has been awesome, very great, very warm-hearted, and I think we're on the right track.
I think you are too. I was really impressed with number one, you have some big elements on the stage, and it's a feeling I got. I have been to your country, and it's a beautiful, gorgeous. I mean, what is there not to say about the greenery, the cemetery? We talked about that a bit. There was a bit of nostalgia there, but I got almost like an old world feeling which to me is magical. From the show, from the opening on through some of the acts there, and your talent in the show. Tell us a little bit about them. And
talent we have in the show is composed of mostly circus artists. We didn't want to have the traditional dancers or box jumpers, or as they used to be called. I wanted to give the show a different level. I wanted to enhance it with different elements. So when we decided to cast our people, we went for circus artists, for contortionists, for we have Anagda Alexi, who does a German wheel. We have Max, who is a trapeze artist. A girl is a contortionist. Caroline is a dancer, and she is also a strap artist. So they all bring their own talent to the show. And the show is more than about just me. I don't want the show to be about how great David Goldrake is. It's about how great the audience is, how great we all are, and the world around us. And I thought that by having people who have their own talent to showcase and to share with us, I could get there. And I've noticed over the last weeks that it's the case. And it adds a really important element to the whole show.
I thought so too, because they are very talented.
They are extremely talented, yes.
Some breathtaking moments.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, and you are intimate with the audience. You do a thing with rings that I thought was really special.
Yeah. The idea was to combine grand illusion, the spectacular, as you said, the glitz of Las Vegas, with, we also have escapology. I escaped from a water tank in full view.
Right, that was scary.
It is.
Oh, I'm glad. You were scared too.
Every night I'm focusing 200% to get everything right, to pick the locks the right way, and to come out.
Do you know that I was holding my breath?
You were?
Yes, because I thought that somehow I could pace myself at that, but it wasn't long before I really got worried, because I had gone past that. I mean, I swim and play tennis. I'm not saying that I'm the most
athletic, yes.
You know, aquatic person, but how long do you hold your breath? Do you know? Or?
Yes, we timed it, and I'm underwater between 155 and 215, depending on the day.
Oh.
Yes. So it depends on how quickly I can escape. It depends on my shape that day. You know, you're not always super fit. So it depends on the day, on the mood, on everything. There's a lot of factors involved, and safety is maximum right there.
It is. So what would happen if something went wrong? I mean, is there a fire axe there where they break open the glass?
We have our exits. We have our plans, A, B, C, and the whole alphabet if necessary, so everything is more or less safe. Things can happen, but we have the necessary outs.
Have you ever had anything happen
on stage? Luckily not.
Oh, but in practice?
Things do happen in practice, yes.
That would really kind of frighten me. I don't know. I mean, because you're burning oxygen too, depending, like you said. So if you have a little bit more difficult time getting the manacles off.
That's it. It's the breathing technique, as you just mentioned, the oxygen. As I'm laying on a horizontal position, I'm doing my breathing exercises. It's called purging. So I take all the CO2 out, and then I bring the oxygen in. And that takes about almost a minute. So that gives me enough oxygen to stay underwater for close to 4 minutes. So if I had to, I could stay longer, but you know, it's not the most comfortable feeling.
No. Also, and I commend all of you and your, I'm sorry, the name of your sidekick, the beautiful girl that gets into the box, and she's a contortionist.
Yeah, that's girly, yes.
I am claustrophobic.
Oh.
So I would like to say mildly, but what is the level? So when I saw you getting into that, do you ever have any issues with that?
No,
or,
no. I'm very lucky. I don't have any claustrophobia, so I can be in any space I want.
Oh, you are lucky, and from your mom's womb too. So
that's where it all started.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. How you really, did the magic come from a genetic thing, or was it something that happened as a child? But we have to take a quick break, because I have to shout out, of course, to my sponsor who keeps me on the air, and that's the Red Roof Inn.
Let's do that.
No, always. On Paradise, across from the Hard Rock. They are pet-friendly, free Wi-Fi, and continental breakfast for guests, and they're close to the airport and the Strip. And don't go away. We'll be right back with some real magic. Well, hey there. Welcome to That's So Vegas. This is our new studio in the famous Las Vegas Arts District, downtown Las Vegas. We're here to rock your world.
And I was
going to ask you how it felt to be breaking good here at the Bellagio for the National Center.
What you did.
Your last CD was My Secret Life. I wanted to ask you what your secrets were. Tune in and turn on with us in downtown Las Vegas. This is where the action is, and that's so Vegas. That's So Vegas. I'm your host, Christina Keller, and as you know, I'm here with David Goldrake Imaginarium playing at the Tropicana, and we were having a lot of fun before we had to go to break, and I made a casual joke about, because watching your show, which is fantastic, you really must go, and it's for all ages, which I like, and families enjoy as well. I was joking about being claustrophobic, but we really had some interesting stuff about your water element.
Yes.
And how you do hold your breath. So I jokingly said that you weren't claustrophobic in the womb, and that brought me to the question, and it always fascinates me, if magic was in your genes, or was there like a watershed lightning bolt moment when you were younger? Tell us a little bit, and then we can go into, I know you brought a magic trick with you, so we'll go into that after we find out where this came from. Are you Harry Potter? Or?
Scar.
Yeah.
I think like a lot of entertainers, magic was an escape. It was a way to fit in, I guess. In my case, none of my parents were either artistically inclined in any way. So I discovered a magic trick when I was 8 years old in a little children's magazine, and it was fascinating, both on a psychological level, from a purely sleight of hand level point of view, and my childhood, being what it was, made it so that magic became the medium that helped me escape. I could read books about magic, I could practice my tricks, I could be alone. And it took me a while until I started performing magic for others. I was a very shy kid. Mm-hmm. And at that moment, when I did my first trick, I realized that the other children accepted me, not as somebody who was superior, but they basically accepted me as a human being. I existed. And for a long time, that was the motor, that was the part that made me going, that made me get better and better and better. And I realized over the years while I was performing that it's more about me sharing with the audience. I realized sitting there, seeing the happiness in people's eyes, be it children or adults, the same. That's what fills me with happiness.
And you know, magic does bring out the child in all of us.
It does.
Because that's how I felt in certain parts of your show too. You know, everybody resonates to different areas and stuff. And too, another thing I liked about it, I mentioned earlier, I felt this old world, which to me is fantasy, or kind of, perhaps because I've been to your country, which is tiny, but we've already talked about that the population of Las Vegas alone is more than your whole country. And doing my homework, and I know you have a magic trick you're going to share with the viewer and myself here in a minute, but I know that you had actually, Siegfried had come to one of our Vegas, Siegfried and Roy, who are royalty here in our fair city, and you were so thrilled to have Siegfried come to one of your shows. And I was doing a little background, having been to Luxembourg, and just fascinated that you've come from there. And in 963, Count Siegfried was granted a castle and some land, and that was the foundation of what was to become Luxembourg.
Absolutely.
And for being such a small company, you have a lot, or country, excuse me, you have a lot of power with European politics and stuff.
They say so.
Yeah. So I'm getting a Freudian or something. There's a vibe that Count Siegfried, and then you so admire Siegfried and Roy, and you had Siegfried come to see your show, and he had nothing but wonderful things to say about you.
That is true.
That lends us, and they're from Germany. So what do you think about that whole? And you're by Germany. You're by how many borders?
We're very close to Germany. We're by the border. Yeah, France, Germany, and Belgium are our three borders. So.
And some of the greatest musicians in the world, their roots are there.
And magicians.
Yes. Did I say
musicians?
Oh. Well, I'm going to stick with magicians.
Which is cool, which is great.
Probably musicians as well.
Yeah, no, some of the
you always
magicians.
Correct.
Music is very magical as well.
Yes.
It's true. Actually, the father of modern magic was French. It was Jean-Eugène Robert Houdin in the 19th century.
Wow.
And he used actually very little known scientific principles like the ether and technology. He was a watchmaker, and he used all these principles to create, back then, magical wonders. He had his own theater in Paris. And it's fascinating to see how both continents, Europe and America, kind of complement each other when it comes to magic and other areas as well, but specifically in magic, how we are able to bring different elements, different cultures together, be it cultural, be it technological, being different levels or areas that create something great, actually.
At your show, there's some really big, wonderful magic elements going on there. And like
That
you
is
had
true.
said, your associates on stage, or the talent, they all come from the circus and everything. So with that glowing, talking about the big stuff, let's see a little magic right here for us.
As you just said, we can't bring the whole stage here or our big illusions. So I just brought a small spool of thread, which, despite its size, is pretty magical. I'm going to unwind it. And this thread actually stands for who we are as audiences, as people. People come to the show to experience different things. So we have spectators who laugh. We can actually put this right here by you.
Okay.
We have spectators who just are in wonder. We have spectators who applaud. Sometimes you have even spectators who don't applaud.
Oh, boo.
And yeah, so you see there's different types of people. And even though we are all different from different parts of the world, we have different emotions, we are from different cultures, those different emotions, let's all try to put them right here on the thread, they all kind of connect us. And my job as a magician when I'm on stage is to use those emotions, is to connect all the audience. I always compare it to the heartbeat. I have my heartbeat, the audience has a heartbeat, and then we bring it together. And if you would just blow like this on it, Christine, you can see that all these different elements come back together to create the perfect unison.
That is really magical. I'm sitting right here with you, and I saw that happen with my own eyes. That's beautiful, and what a lovely allegory. And one of the most wonderful things about magic, it does bring out the child in all of us because of that wonder.
It does.
Yes.
It does. It helps us forget our worries, you know, the bills that you have to pay, illnesses or whatever we're suffering from, and if I can give that experience to a spectator, if it's only for 75 minutes every evening, I'm happy.
Plus, when the whole audience in unison is laughing, there's something really special about that. Have you, and I know that you've been at the Magic Castle in LA, and of course you've played, actually from what I understand, you've performed in Europe before royalty, and I mean all types of different venues. So did you ever have a particular magic moment on stage, or was there a magical moment in your life that you could say was purely magical?
Wow. On stage, there have been a lot of moments, different moments, and most of these moments always stem from my interaction with the audience. That's what I love most about it. Everybody's different, so every time you have a spectator on stage, you adapt, you see what energy they give you, and you play with that, you use it. And sometimes the result is okay, sometimes it's great, depending on the person. As for my personal life, there's been a lot of very magical moments that are strong memories, that are memories you take with you, that are memories that I sometimes use on stage as well, that I take with me to the stage. And other memories I just cherish to myself. And you know, in those moments where you're not in that great a mood, you go back to them and you go, hey, remember that?
That's right.
So that's also what I try to convey to people, having these little memories and sharing them with them, giving them that gift.
And they must love you, because people were giving up their wedding rings the other night for that.
That is
really
true. They
fabulous.
do trust me.
They
Never
do
trust a magician, but yet they do trust me. That is correct.
Well, I'm going to come back to that. When we come back, I have to take another break, because this is a magical, it's like being on a magic carpet ride in the studio today. A quick shout out to the Red Roof Inn on Paradise. I'm trying to think of something a little magical to say about them. They're very wonderful people. They're close to the airport and Strip, and they're actually, you know, all over the world practically. So So we'll be back in just a moment with David, and we're going to talk a little bit more about who's behind you, behind the scenes on the stage. So don't go away, because that's so Vegas.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. If you think about that, I mean, go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. And there's one thing we're focused on here at St. Jude, and that's beating this thing.
Here we are. That's So Vegas TV in the Las Vegas Arts District, downtown Las Vegas, Nevada, and I am so lucky. I just love my job. I've got David Goldrake here from the Tropicana Imaginarium. It's a great show for families and dates and everything. There's so much going on. I mean, it's a show to take somebody on a date, and being at the Trop, there's a good place to go dine always. And you've got the big elements and the little elements, but although none are as small as the thread element we had in the previous segment, which was a mind blower, and I speaking of which, I got to blow on the thread and
you did
bring everybody together again. So not only is the show about you, you are the focal point, but you're also very modest, and I noticed that throughout and in other interviews, you always talk about how it is to interact with the audience and to feel the joy and the love and the laughter from the audience. So, and I know that some of the performers with you are from circus acts, which is some of the most talented and amazing people on the planet. And tell us a little bit about the creative team.
The creative team we've had so far and still have is just phenomenal. We have our director choreographer, who's Oriana Sanchez. She's worked with Cher for 30 years. She's doing So You Think You Can Dance. She's been working with so many other great talented artists. Our costume designer Topaz did costumes for Michael Jackson, for Katy Perry, for Madonna. It's been just amazing. And we've been surrounded by fantastic people, who all, exactly, crème de la crème, who brought their vision to the show, who helped me interpret or bring my interpretation of my vision to the stage, and to be able to perform under these circumstances feel great.
You know, when you walked into, I just have to say it, I absolutely love your ensemble.
Thank you.
And I commented on it earlier, and I believe you said the French was a French designer.
Yeah, the jacket is French, the shirt is German, Lagerfeld.
Yes,
so yeah.
The whole look with the collar and everything. I hope the camera does justice to that. There's a certain patina about it. It's just phenomenal, and you wear it so well.
I do my best. Thanks.
So when you were interpreting, and the reason I bring this up again, we touched lightly on it, is because you had said how, and it's so true, every single element, from the design of the costumes to the mechanics of the show. Do you set up each night? I mean, how do you, there's so much, it blows my mind when I look at the tanks and the different and the wires and the pulleys. Do they stay there static during the day?
No, it's a whole setup. The most complicated setup, in my opinion, is the technology. We have had this wonderful team from Belgium, Drop the Spoon, who did the whole visuals. They created the whole visual universe. It's 3D mapping, projections that create this. Thank you. Creates this immersive experience, and they worked on Celine Dion's first show when she started here in Vegas. They did Le Rêve at the Wind Theater. They're extremely talented, but that adds a whole layer of complexity to the show. So not only do we have to set up the whole technology every day, we have to test it, we have to make sure everything runs according to the time code. And then there's the actual physical show, and that goes from costumes. We have obviously our costume lady who takes care of that, but we have the props, we have the little props, we have the big props, we have the locks that need to be inspected to make sure they're still good and they work. We have to examine, make sure the water has the right temperature. We have to make sure everything is on its right spot, and it is a pretty complex adventure that we take care of every day, yes.
So again, and to misquote a phrase, it takes more than a village, it takes a castle.
Correct.
A castle and a village, right?
Yes.
And we go back to Count Siegfried. He's the one who founded your beautiful country, Luxembourg. And I'm going to, what was
963.
963.
Very easy to remember, 963.
963, there must be something cosmic there, if we think about it.
There
must,
yes, yes.
But so much good magic has come from Europe, you know, and flowed over here to the United States. And now you're at the Tropicana, and
which is a wonderful place.
And you're surrounded by your peers.
That's it. I'm very, very honored and feel privileged to be between David Copperfield, Chris Angel, who are two of the planet's greatest performers, especially David, who is in a league of his own. He has brought so much to magic, so much artistry, and also, as I said before, he had his point of view from the beginning. For me, it's an unbelievable and sometimes surreal feeling.
Right, but not intimidating. You're not at all intimidated.
I am intimidated, but it's a positive feeling. It's something that helps me know where I'm standing, that keeps me moving forward and improving the show on a daily basis until I reach the same level and I'm up there with them.
Well, based on what I've seen, I doubt that that's going to take you too much longer, but I know that Trop doesn't want to let you go. So we have the information for tickets that can be purchased online at the Trop or even on your website, correct?
Both.
And again, it's for friends, family, lovers, tourists, children, locals, everybody, please. Thank you for staying with us. Don't go away. I'm Christine McKellar, and I have some of the latest Las Vegas entertainment updates coming up, and we'll see you in just a moment. Christine McKellar with this week's latest Vegas entertainment updates. Rock icons John Anderson, Trevor Rabin, and Rick Wakeman are touring as Yes and performing at the Smith Center in Reynolds Hall on Thursday, August 31st at 7:30 p.m. All three artists were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year on April 7th. Tickets start at only $35. Speed Vegas, the $30 million supercar driving experience located just minutes from the Strip, is serving as the home studio and track for the new Top Gear America series, which premiered on BBC America July 30th. Each week, a different celebrity is featured competing for top honor on the leaderboard at the Speed Vegas studio and track. Award-winning comedian Samore will bring her stand-up act back to the Suncoast Showroom August 26th and 27th at 8:30 p.m. Tickets start again at $35. Samore began her career in 1994 as the first woman to host BET's Comic View. She hosted Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam and Showtime at the Apollo the following year, and also received the Richard Pryor Award for Comic of the Year. Las Vegas's newest stage production, Circus 1903, celebrated its opening night at the Paris Theater at Paris, and what a night it was. The new resident show transports theatergoers back to the golden age of circus with thrilling and death-defying acts and all the nostalgia that made that era. Heartwarming are the performing elephants, Queenie and Peanut, who are brought to life through groundbreaking design and puppeteering. And for Pahrump residents, the Bonkers Comedy Club inside the Pahrump Nugget Event Center will present three-time Emmy Award winner comedian Louis Anderson for one night on Friday, August 4th at 5 p.m. Entry is free, but there is limited seating. Contact the casino's Goldmine Players Rewards Center for tickets. For the latest dining tips, concert info, showtimes, and events, please visit www.vegasontheentertainment.com. Until next week, I'm Christine McKellar, because that's so Vegas.
1, 2, 3, 4, get my shoes and out the door. 5, I'm alive. 6, 7, 8, feeling great. 9, gonna shine, life is good. I'm doing 5, 10, gonna do it right and do it again.